Sometimes stages are too slippery. At least that's what it seems like with the amount of celebrities who seem to fall down on them. It's moments like those that make you remember that celebrities are just like us, tripping over their own feet or maybe even objects that are very obviously in their line of sight. Even on the flat ground of a stage, celebrities just can't stop falling down. So many in fact that it was hard to narrow it down to just the top 10. Obviously it's never good to laugh at someone who's injured themselves, but all of these clumsy celebs are just fine, and sometimes even laughed about the incidents themselves afterwards. Here is our top 10 list of celebrities who fell on stage that gave us secondhand embarrassment. At number 10, we've got Meghan Trainor. During her 2016 performance on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, Meghan performing her hit Me Too was just seconds from finishing her set, and if it weren't for a small misstep, she wouldn't be on this list, obviously. As she reached for the mic stand to put the microphone back in and take a final bow, her high heels hit the ground at the wrong angle, causing her to stumble and fall, taking the mic stand down with her. Jimmy joined her on stage quickly after, lightening the mood and laying next to her, having a laugh before helping her back up. Jimmy said he told Meghan they could reshoot the performance, but she decided to keep it in because, quote, that's how it went. Falling down on live TV is grounds to feel a bit humiliated, but I'm glad she went ahead with airing it, and hey, it worked well with the context of the show because the fall is nothing if not hilarious. Coming in at number 9 is Justin Bieber. In 2016, during his Purpose tour, a performance in Saskatchewan took a bit of a turn, or a plunge. What Justin experienced on stage was a mishap that looked something straight out of a Charlie Chaplin film. It's always a treat to watch 30s slapstick humor play out in real life. In a video recorded by someone in the crowd, we see Justin in pants that are far too big for him. However much it looks like he could have tripped because of them, this was not the reason for his fall at all. Instead, something even more absurd happened. Our anticipation increased as he sauntered to the back of the stage where Justin, in Looney Tunes fashion, appears to fall through a trap door. He was able to recover quickly and continue the show, but if I was there, I would think I had already gotten my money's worth. This must have been no laughing matter for the star because People magazine reports that Justin wasn't having the best time on tour, saying, quote, 2 months into it and he already feels beat. He's not losing it though, and he's just trying to find different ways to focus. If this happened to me, I probably would have broken down. At number 8 is Amy Schumer, and even though this happened on a red carpet and not technically a stage, it seems that the world is a stage for Amy, apparently. At the 2015 Met Gala, Schumer decided to prank Kim Kardashian and Thou Who Shall Not Be Named by purposefully tripping in front of them. This was enough to cause the ex-couple to glance down at her, perhaps even worry about her, but overall gave very minimal reactions. This was obviously a case of some friends goofing around because Amy and Kim are known for being homies. The prank had its desired effect, I guess, because people were talking about it for days after it happened. But was anybody laughing? Maybe Amy was. And hey, everybody knows that the point of a joke is to make yourself laugh. Just because this fall was intentional doesn't mean it caused any less secondhand embarrassment. In fact, it might have caused more. To pull a prank in such a public event only to have not one person laugh. She's such a genius. At number 7 is Prince Harry, and while this incident didn't take place on stage either, but instead an arena, what is a horseback riding arena if not a stage fit for a prince? Although Harry is a qualified and proficient polo player, no one is immune to falling off a horse, not even a prince. While competing in the California 2010 Polo Classic, Harry and his horse took a pretty big fall. The horse fell on its side and the prince collided with the ground face first, which is not how you win at polo, but thankfully the horse was okay. Just kidding. Reports say Harry went through 3 horses during the event. That has to be enough horses to realize that maybe it's you and not the horse. Harry did make it through the hour-long affair, getting up after each horse bucked him off, ready to get back in the game, or whatever polo is. For my Canadians watching, I think it's like hockey on horses. At number 6 is Lady Gaga. During a performance in Las Vegas, Lady Gaga took a fan up on stage with her and the two began dancing. This is all innocent enough until a fan lifted Gaga into his arms, and just as fast as the fan picked her up, the two were already tumbling down. Now, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. However, I'm glad someone was filming the incident. The pair did not suffer a simple slip, but instead fell off the stage entirely and into the crowd. This was obviously a case of the fans' sheer overconfidence with their balance and strength, but if Lady Gaga tells you to pick her up, you're probably going to pick her up. I would pick her up. I'd love to pick her up. Falling down on stage is one thing, but falling all the way off, that's noteworthy, and probably a sign that Gaga should be more spatially aware, especially when her feet aren't on the ground. This incident didn't stop the concert from continuing, and the show went on as planned with no major injuries from either Gaga or the fan, and I'm sure that fan has a wonderful story to tell at parties. That, or they've just become incredibly annoying about it. Coming in at number 5, we have Iggy Azalea. During a performance of Fancy at the 2014 MTV benefit concert, Azalea got a little too close to the edge of the stage. Azalea, becoming enthusiastic with her background dancers, begins moving alongside them. Having fun with her coworkers is great, but this move became a bit precarious. Now, Iggy is quite notorious for her sporadic movements on stage, and I love to see her passionate about her craft, but this did not bode well when the rapper began to move backwards, and unknowingly stepped directly off the stage and into the barricade. Security was able to help her back up on stage, incredibly gracefully may I add, and the show ran smoothly from that point on. But what this teaches viewers is that maybe it's not a good idea to walk backwards on a surface that's less than 9 feet long, and hey, it was all in the name of charity. Coming in at number 4 is Travis Scott. In February of 2017, during a Drake concert in London, Travis Scott has such a legendary dive that still makes rounds on social media today. Travis Scott was brought on as a guest as his Astroworld album was rising in popularity. While performing, the rapper walked upstage, which, unbeknownst to him, was home to a giant hole in the ground. As Travis began singing into the microphone, he fell straight down, which caused an auto-tune cry to ricochet through the venue before disappearing from the crowd's view. In an interview with GQ magazine, Scott explains the situation by saying, "I didn't fall, dude. I flew. I was floating. I don't fall. It was like getting in a plane. I'm a magician." After the fall, Scott managed to get back up on stage without missing much of a beat and continued the show as planned. That hole in the stage created a now staple of internet culture. At number 3 is Pink. Now, Pink is known for pushing the boundaries in her performances. Some may say she was a bird in a past life and yearns to be back up in the sky. I support her in this endeavor, but as humans, we have to take extra precaution when we're launched into the air. Pink's 2010 Funhouse tour was known for its high-energy acrobatic stunts with very little room for error, and during a performance in Germany, Pink was strapped into a harness presumably to be lifted up and thrown around the room, as she's notorious for doing, but Pink quickly realized that something was wrong. She attempted to signal the problem to her crew, but this went unnoticed. What followed was Pink being launched off the front of the stage towards the audience, and thankfully for us, directly into a person who was holding a camera. The show was ended shortly after that as the singer was taken away in an ambulance, but confirmed shortly after that she didn't suffer any injuries. And our runner-up on this list is Este Haim. During a 2021 Los Angeles performance featuring Them Changes singer Thundercat, the Haim sister made quite a large error in judgment. After singing beside her sister Danielle stationary with no real need to move about, she, for no discernible reason, decides to take her mic off the stand and start walking around the stage aimlessly. This turned out to be a mistake because on her way back to the initial spot on stage, her foot got tangled in some wires and she tripped over a speaker, causing her to fall down very horizontally. Watching the entire incident, I have no idea how she managed to do this, considering the fact that she had to step over the wires and speaker once already in order to get to the other side of the stage. The fall was pretty brutal, and I wouldn't be surprised if she had the wind knocked out of her. Her sister Danielle promptly helped her back up and the show continued without any further issues. And at the end of the show, Este joked and said, "I hope someone got a video of that," which someone did, and shortly after she reposted the video on Twitter. And at number 1 is Joe Biden. The president isn't technically a celebrity, or at least not what people would usually consider a celebrity. However, we all keep up with him on social media, and my oh my, does he run Twitter. And what's a celebrity if not someone who people have a lot of opinions on? Now, Joe Biden has taken his fair share of spills. At this point, they seem to be almost weekly. The most recent tumble Joe took was while on stage at the US Air Force Academy commencement. As he was walking across the stage, Joe seemed to have tripped over an unknown object, causing him to fall on his hands and knees. His team quickly came to the rescue, pulling the president to his feet mere seconds after he went down. Biden proceeded to deliver his speech and walked away seemingly unscathed. Some worry about the health of the president, given the sheer amount of his falls these days, but his team continues to insist that he's still in great physical and mental condition, so I'm sure there's nothing to worry about. That was our top 10 list of celebrities falling on stage that gave us secondhand embarrassment. Let us know what your favorite is and if we missed any good ones down in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.